Apple, I have 230.
Now you guys can hear me. Welcome in, guys. How is everybody doing?
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. NVIDIA earnings day.
Yes, big day today. Very big day.
One of the biggest days for chips. If you are holding chips, this is a major event for you. After hours today, we have a lot to talk about this morning. Hey, Brett, thinking of doing an ATH video soon, trading-based recaps. Yeah, I could do that. Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It is a beautiful Wednesday. We have Mike on the horn with us this morning. We're going to go over everything we're seeing in the pre-market session. We're going to talk about it. We had Mike and I had a good trade yesterday in AMD. A little bit of volatility in AMD yesterday, but we actually got a really nice trade. So we'll talk about AMD today, it being one of the main watches today's session as well. So AMD, obviously, a bit of an interesting one this morning prior to NVIDIA earnings, and we'll see what happens here. But this is a top watch for today's session as well. So we're going to go over that, and it's going to be a nice pre-market. We have a lot going on. We have Amazon moving in the pre-market as well. We have Amazon action, Amazon 230. We have Apple 230 as well. A lot of 230s today. 230 seems to be a popular number this morning. We're also going to go over Tesla. Tesla, one of the name today on Tesla is "Do you want a FAFO?" Because this to me is a level, and I see it. It's a beautiful break. Do you want a FAFO today in Tesla 349? That's the question. Okay, so first of all, welcome in. Everybody subscribe to Mike's channel, his YouTube channel. Mike, let me tag your YouTube channel in here as well so we get you some subs. What is your YouTube channel again? Let me see if I can find it.
Mike Trades 1.
Mike Trades 1. Mike Trades 1. Okay. See, subscribe.
Yeah, I'll be posting new content on YouTube as soon as I get back from my trip.
Okay, I just pinned your YouTube channel. Guys, I pinned Mike's YouTube channel in the YouTube comments. Give him a follow. There are not that many good people on YouTube, and we are one of the few. So just give him a follow, obviously, and let's jump into it. So today's session, obviously, a lot going on pre-market today. We have a lot of volatility and a lot of things happening after hours. Mike and I are going to discuss everything going on this morning, pre-market charts, obviously, right? We're going to go over, like we just said, Tesla, Amazon, Apple, AMD. I'm sure Mike has some QQQ fade levels today, which you'll go over in a little bit as well. QQQ is at a big major spot this morning. It's at that 573 area, 574 area. Question is, do we break today? And even if we do break, we have supply above. So we're gonna discuss that in a bit. We're gonna go over the SPY levels today. SPY being the most important chart this morning, of course, because we are back at the all-time highs. This is something that we're going to talk a little bit about trading psychology today, because it's important. Trading psychology, the psychology of a trader, is the most important part of, I think it's the most important part of trading. I'm not talking about like how you deal with trading. I'm talking about how you read the market, because how you read the market is important, okay? And how other traders read the market is also important, and it kind of builds how you're going to approach the market that session. And today we're going to talk a little bit about that with a gap up in the market. Okay, so first of all, wow, Gunny Trades, that is very kind of you, Gunny. Very, very kind of you. Thank you very much. We are absolutely going to do a huge giveaway again. Mike, or actually Gunny Trades was a huge supporter last month for the giveaway. So we're going to do another big giveaway in September. Thank you very much, Gunny Trades. Also, thank you, Steve Can. You guys are both awesome. Much appreciated. Anyway, so, and by the way, Everybody say congrats to Gutty because he is actually out of the army now. I think this is his first day out of the army as a full-time trader. So that's a big big step for Gunny Trades. Anyway, so today's session, obviously big earnings after hours today. The big one is Nvidia. Mike, what do you think about Nvidia? What are your thoughts on Nvidia?
Yeah, so I've done some back testing on Nvidia and I've done some homework. I think we're due for some downside. Now, I don't know that that means necessarily that earnings will give that downside, but I do believe that within the next couple of months, we will see a decent correction on Nvidia based on the research that I've done. But I mean, just looking at today, looking at levels, right? 184 is the big and obvious level.
184. Yep, 184. And we'll talk about Nvidia in a bit. Obviously, Snowflake and CrowdStrike also reporting earnings. By the way, I said Army, it's Marines. I know there's a big difference. Marines, it's the Marines. I know, but obviously a bit of a big difference there for Gunny. But anyway, so Nvidia, Snowflake, and CrowdStrike reporting earnings today in the after hours. I think it's interesting. I've already scaled out of a lot of my Nvidia equity, so to be honest with you, I'm open to whatever happens. I do agree though. Like I think that Nvidia at some point has to pull back, even if it rips this earnings, which it may happen because you've seen it happen time and time again. I'm not a buyer here anymore. Okay, these stocks need to be bought at dips, especially Nvidia. Okay, and Nvidia does dip. It dips when you don't think it's going to dip. When everyone thinks it's not going to dip is usually when it dips. So be understanding of that. I think if you want to be a long-term buyer of Nvidia, you're waiting for a lower price. Probably the 140s, maybe the 150s at a minimum. So let's watch and see what happens with Nvidia post earnings. You had some movement on Snowflake yesterday. We'll take a look at Snowflake today as well. CrowdStrike will also get a view of in the pre-market session this morning. So tomorrow after hours, we have Dollar General, DG. We have Best Buy, TD Bank, and that's all we have for the session in front of us. Okay. Economic data for today's session, Wednesday, August 27th. There is really nothing on the docket. This morning we just have some 10:30 data as well, and also 11:45 Barkin speaking. So nothing too crazy on the economic side today's session. Now tomorrow pre-market, if you think, okay, you know what, I had a tough Wednesday session. Wow, Wednesday was tough. It was a little bit choppy before Nvidia earnings. Man, I'm down $1,000. I'm just gonna swing a few 1D to E options into tomorrow. You know, maybe I'm just gonna be a little cute with little spy 1D to E. Well, you're probably wrong about that. Okay, why? Because there's GDP tomorrow morning. You don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. Don't do it. Right? Don't try to recover off of one little swing trade into tomorrow because you think you know what's gonna happen. Don't do it. Right? Better off trading intraday or swinging long term for a few weeks out. Don't do it tomorrow. GDP obviously 8:30 a.m. That's gonna be a big roadblock. We just don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so obviously big data tomorrow morning. SPY chart. So Mike and I are going to talk about SPY today, and before we do, we're just going to talk a little bit about the psychology of SPY, right? The psychology of the market. So basically, for some time, what was it, on Monday and Tuesday, if you guys can attest to this, you can tell me in the chat, Brett, you're wrong, you're an idiot, or you can say you agree. And I think most of you guys are going to agree that we spoke about the idea that this pullback on SPY was not necessarily bearish, right? We saw the big upside move on Friday. We knew the pullback was going to come in, and we spoke about the higher low formation forming on the S&P, which may cause us to rally back in highs on the SPY. Now, the problem with traders is that you have a hard time accepting what is happening in the market and calling this bullish. And then when you see the move has already happened, now we call it bullish. That's the biggest problem, because the biggest problem is that you're looking at this market now and you're saying, well, damn, this is an incredible long opportunity. Let's go long on the market. But the issue is, how could you go long now? The move has already happened. That's why being a trader is not about trading what's happened. It's about trading what's happening. That's what I wanted to talk about today, right? So obviously you see this market, it's rallying higher. We think we're back in all-time highs again. Wow, we're bullish. Let's buy calls today. It's not necessarily true. The time to buy calls was Monday. It was Tuesday. It was Tuesday into close, and that was it, right? Because now we are right back at the bull flag highs. If you considered this market bullish off the idea that we were forming a higher low, well, what did the market do? We formed a higher low here at 641 and change. We rallied higher back in the highs here, and we just met the bull flag move. If you were trading this little bull flag play into our demand zone, you have met the bull flag move. And what I mean by that is we have reached the target of that bull flag highs. Therefore, today's session, what are we going to do? It's all about 646 today. I don't really want to see the market pull back. I want to see the market just clear above 646. If we can clear above 646, we have a breakout potential. But demand bounces for me are not something I'm keeping on my docket this morning. And the question is why? Because we've already got the demand bounce. The demand bounce was at 641, 642. We've rallied higher into people are saying no video, lots of video. Can you guys see us on the video side? Looks like we're having some technical issues. Let me do a refresh. Looks like we're okay, guys. On my end, we seem to be okay. Maybe it's just server side on your guys' part. Take a look and if it's not working for you guys, just do a little refresh and it should be fine. Okay, so on SPY this morning, what I'm trying to say is basically don't trade what's happened, trade what's happening. Okay, so on the S&P this morning, 646, big resistance. We have demand below now, but I am not keen to taking demand bounces today on SPY because the market is back at all-time highs. And you see what happened the last few times we tapped all-time highs. Last time we tapped all-time highs, you saw 646 rejection, big downside. 646 rejection, big downside. 646 rejection, big downside. Today's session, you want to see 646 build. You don't want to see us just pull back and start longing demand again, because again, if you start longing 644 and it breaks, you know where we're going to, 643. And 643 breaks, you know where we're going to, 642 again. And again, that's a big major level. So if you're trading anything today, the key thing to note is your two big levels are 646 supply and 642 demand. Those are the big colossal demands and colossal supplies. And for us to see upside, you want to see us clear above these highs. Okay, Mike, do you have anything to add with that analysis?
I have the same supply. It's also the same ES 6500. It's like 646.50. That's the big level on ES. So those align, and it's a really nice supply level.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if we'll break it though. I don't know if we'll break it before Nvidia earnings. We may wait until after. They may keep us penned until after Nvidia earnings, but let's see what happens today.
Yeah, I agree. But just be careful being long back in the supply zone. I think the most important thing is wait for it to clear out. If you see it clear out, you can absolutely look for the break and retest long, right? This could be a beautiful break and retest long. I'm not saying you can't long it, but wait for it to break first, then go long on that SPY chart, okay? On the ES chart is the same thing, right? Unfortunately, ES was not as clear yesterday, and I think we spoke about that. We spoke about the discrepancy between SPY and ES. So I'm not going to say that we called it an ES. We did call it on SPY, but we didn't really call it an ES because ES technically had a little bit of room down before my 64.20 level. So we did end up holding around 64.35 here in ES's chart. We reclaimed the 64.54, 64.55. We rallied higher back in all-time highs. But again, the same rejection spot on the market, the red zone, the wall, the Great Wall of China is 6,500 ES. And we're right here again. Do you want to just be long into this level? Let's not be long into this level, right? Wait for it to clear out. If it can clear out, we can look for longs on that clearance, longs on that build for a continuation move higher, for a new PDM, right? Price discovery mode move. But as of right now, be careful longing back into 65. That's your big spot today here in ES's chart. Mike, what do you have to add there on ES? Anything else?
6,500. No, that's the only level I have for today.
Yep, exactly. So 6,500. And, it's interesting because, where do we go if we clear 65? If we clear 65, it's just PDM, right? So at that moment, we're just every psychological level, every psychological number is just a level until we form it as a rejection spot, and then we know it's a clear supply zone. So obviously, just understand that we're back at all-time highs. Let's see what happens here at 65. I do agree, though. My understanding this morning, and I think most people have the same mindset, is do you think the market's going to break all-time high supply prior to NVIDIA earnings? It's going to be difficult to do that if NVIDIA is not participating, because NVIDIA must participate in the rally for a SPY to break. I think it's an important thought. On the QQQ, Qs, 570 demand maintained yesterday. Again, this was a beautiful bull flag play. Bull flag on Qs maintained 570, but where have we moved to, right? And look at what's happening here in the QQQ. Qs are obviously weaker than the S&P, right? Why am I saying that? Because if you look at the QQQ, we are still not above the 575 supply zone. This is still a big supply zone. In fact, if you are a pattern trader, you're probably all over this head and shoulders today, right? 575 being your head and shoulder spot today here in the Qs. And if we are under 575, you potentially have what you consider to be a bearish trade there, right? 575 rejection is still valid. If we obviously break and hold above 575, then we have potential back into 583. But as of right now, 575 being an important rejection spot. Now, I know some traders are probably going to say, Brett, why are you talking about rejections when Qs are clearly in a bull flag? And if we clear above 574, we rally higher. I do agree that 574 is a breakout spot on Qs. I see it, right? I can see it. We have a bull flag trade here in Qs above 574. There is upside, but look at the upside potential. Here's the thing. If you are an options trader, you cannot really scalp this for longs. It's going to be difficult to do, right? If you are an ES trader, if you are a futures trader on NQ, okay, then absolutely look for longs above 574 today in QQQ and target that play back into 575. It's absolutely valid today. But if you're trading this on options, a dollar move in the Qs is going to be a bit it's not scrumptious enough. Okay, there's not enough meat in the bone there to go long off of. So above 574, back into 575. If you want to try it, do it. But of course, 575 is your big supply zone today on the Qs. Okay, what do you think, Mike? Same thing.
Same thing. Yep, 574.
574. And where's your supply on Qs?
Supply 574. Demand 569.
574, and your demand is 569. So Mike's demand
569.
Mike's demand is 569, which I think is basically just PDL, right? That Tuesday low.
Yeah, it was a low we held for 2 days straight.
Okay. So if you're looking for shorts today, what would you watch for shorts today if you're watching shorts?
Well, I mean, you could look for an entry below 572, which is NDX 23,500. But it's just in the middle of a range, so it's kind of hard to take those. You know, when I look for fades, usually it's when we're breaking a range, and right now we're just kind of tight. You know,
right?
I probably won't trade Qs or SPY today.
And I was like, sometimes I'll bet on what Mike will trade and what Rav will trade certain sessions. And today I was like thinking Mike was going to be trading Qs today, so I was wrong about that. Anyway, so. Yeah, I'm not going to trade Qs, but again, the levels are pretty easy to see, right? You have a channel here. This is your channel on the Qs, right? I'll draw it out so you can see it. A break and hold above 574 sends you to supply 575. That's what it is, okay? I mean, 575 breaks, obviously that'd be great for upside, but as of right now, 575 it hasn't broken yet. I think one of the main reasons that the QQQ has not broken 575 supply is because of Nvidia earnings. Right, so Nvidia earnings, obviously one of the colossal names reporting. I think Nvidia is the biggest market cap in the U.S. economy right now. I think it is number one, if not number one, number two. Mike, you can probably correct me if I'm wrong here. Is it number one?
Number one market cap in the world.
Number one market cap in the world, right? I just saw that Nvidia has surpassed the market cap of the entire Japan economy, which is absolutely insane. Nvidia is insane. Now the question is, what does Nvidia do post earnings? I think it's about two things. Okay, it's very clearly going to be about the channel high, which is 184. Okay, 184 is your key technical resistance. If 184 can break, then obviously this is going to go into you would consider to be your PDM move, right? This goes into PDM. If it breaks with 184, it's in PDM. In that moment, we just know it's going to rally higher. Where does it go to? It probably goes to the next major option strike, which is 190. So above 184, expect us to go to 190. That's just what it is. If we lose channel low, which is 178.5, then I think we begin to see some downside here in the stock. And where do we go to? 174 and possibly 168. But again, your channel is very clear today here on NVIDIA. It's simply just 184 and 178.5. Remember what we said yesterday? We said, damn, I wish that NVIDIA didn't have earnings. Why? Because we said pretty clearly that if we were above 175, we would be all over this for longs, right? Looking for longs back at demand, which would be here, longs back at demand, or even the break and retest long, which happened on that Monday session above that 178.50. So obviously 178.5 being a big technical level of support. But this morning, right? This morning, what are you seeing? You're seeing us, again, right back into the channel high before Nvidia earnings. Now, I could be wrong, and I've been wrong many times before. But as long as we are under, I don't think Nvidia is going to break 184. I don't think we're going to see a big channel break prior to Nvidia earnings. And again, maybe we do see it happen, but I won't be a participant of that. Why? Because we shouldn't really be breaking out above a major channel high prior to a major event where traders are given new information. Okay, so be aware of that today. I mean, you could even see this today. If you do see us break out today, that could be a reason to go short on a fade for a reversion play back into the opening price. That's what I would be looking for today here in NVIDIA. So just be careful with NVIDIA. Obviously, post earnings is going to be more clear. We'll see what happens there on this chart. Mike, what are you watching in NVIDIA? Probably the same thing, right?
Yeah, 184, guys. You know, I'm in puts 5 months out, right? So even if we do get a pop after earnings, like I'm willing to accept that. I actually want that to happen because I'd like to get some more size on this trade. But you know, that's my plan is to add if we get a pop after earnings. But I'm short 5 months out.
Yeah, and it's, at least the thing is like even if it does pop, you have to look at the larger time frame here, and sometimes it requires you to look at the larger time frame. You do want to see a pullback, right? I would want to see a pullback to 150. That's where I want to see this pullback to. So I mean, larger time frame, this has to do it. It will happen eventually. We just don't know when, but it's going to do it eventually. Okay, Mike, I'm going to let you do AMD. I'll let you start off with AMD.
AMD. Okay, so yeah, we took AMD yesterday, guys, for a bounce. That 165 to 165.50 area was really nice. We caught, you know, a nice trade off of that. It wound up doing 30%. We caught a $2 move. But today for AMD, I don't want to take a bounce anymore. This thing has to show strength. It has to show strength for upside. So the level that we were watching yesterday for a breakout was that 168.50, which is Friday level, also a level back from August 12th. You can see the pivot there. If we clear 168.50 on strength today, that's where I want to take another entry on AMD for longs. Okay? Downside, I'm not really watching anything.
Yeah, I agree. We had a good entry yesterday in NVIDIA, in AMD. I actually got an earlier entry. Mike and I were just talking about this before this. It was a bit funny because I went long. I went long right here. Where did I go long? 166.6. I went long at. I was right there. I went long at 166.6. I stopped out under 166. Then as soon as we fell back into that 165 PDH, which was the real level. This was the real. Remember I said something yesterday? What did I say yesterday live on the stream pre-market? If you see me trading something not at a key level, why are you taking that trade? Right? And you guys came here pre-market yesterday, so there's no excuse. You guys saw the levels on my chart, 165. That's on you, right? 165 was the key spot yesterday. That we longed it again at 165. This was a beautiful level. In fact, if you lost like 15% in the first trade, the second trade ended up going 37%. This was an actually really awesome trade that we caught in the second entry. But again, it would have been really nice just to catch a second trade, not the first. Anyway, still a good session. Now today on AMD, what would you be watching in AMD? It's going to be builds, right? So what I'd be watching now is I don't want to long this at demand anymore, okay? 165 is nice, but obviously if it taps 165, I think it actually becomes a short. That's just what it is. I would actually watch shorts today in AMD under 165. I would also watch longs above 169, which Mike was just talking about. So look for this or look for this. I don't want to see 165 tap again because if it does tap, I'm looking for shorts under 165. Okay. Mike, what do you think about Apple?
Apple 230.
230. Yeah.
230 is the level on Apple. If we break that, we should get a nice move. There's a little bit of supply at 231, but if we clear that out, we're going to 233.
Yeah, I agree. 230 is a big level today in Apple. Above 230. I think I have 230. Oh, you know what? 230, I agree. I can see it, right? You can see what Mike's talking about. He's saying basically above 230, we have room to 233. I said 234, but you can clearly see what he's talking about, right? You see the rejection spot over here from that Tuesday, the 19th of August. That's clearly a spot to watch out for. So let's look for this today. This is actually one of my main watches was going to be Apple. If we can get a build above 230, I'm looking for, and the reason why is because you just zoom into this for a second, right? Sometimes you're in larger time frames for analysis, but sometimes you have to go to the smaller time frames, okay? Look at this chart. You see the big downside from August 20th? Well, basically what we've just done is we've just recovered that big downside move. Big downside, right back into the same level. If we can get back above this big downside level, we're back in the same channel between 230 and that Monday highs here, 233. So if we get back above it, I'm looking for that break and read as long, an upside trade back in the highs here. This could be a solid trade for today's session here on Wednesday. Okay. Amazon. Amazon 230, same thing. Okay, Amazon bounces are valid today. I actually am still watching Amazon bounce if we do get there. Watching for either a 225 demand bounce if we pull back to 225, looking for longs there, or looking for longs with 230. And same idea here. In fact, same target as well. It's actually kind of funny, right? Above 230 on Amazon sends you higher to 234. Okay, so watching Amazon as well above that 230 area. What about Netflix, Mike? I don't see anything.
Not watching anything on Netflix.
I don't see anything at all. It's not even worth going over. This is like a dead stock. Meta? Are you watching Meta?
No, but I do see. I mean, 748, right? 748. If we lose that, that was that level actually that we bounced a couple weeks ago.
748. Interesting. I see what you're talking about, right? So 748 as a key low here. You can see 7.
I don't really trade Meta very much, but Rav might trade it.
I think. What do you think Rav's going to trade today? Meta?
I don't know. Maybe if it loses that 748, he might look for a short. I have no idea.
I think Rav's going to trade Meta today. I'm going to take my guess is he's on Meta. Yeah, I agree. Under 748 for shorts. 748 short play. Back down low to 738. Or look for us to clear above highs. 758. Someone said that Rav's trading Cracker Barrel today. Yeah, you know what? That's what we're going to do. We're just going to trade Cracker Barrel today. Did you guys see that? The logo swap. They're going back and forth now. So 758 clears upside, 748 downside back in the lows here. That's what we're expecting here. And Meta obviously just channel, right? So anything in this channel is my DZ, right? This is my DZ. You guys know what that means, okay? So moving on. What am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something today. I'm missing something big today. What's going on? That's what it was. Palantir.
Oh, Palantir, yeah. Let's talk about Palantir.
I'll let you do all Palantir. This is all yours.
Do you have the chart pulled up?
I do. Yep.
All right. So you have the daily trend drawn. I can't see it yet.
I'll draw it. Let me see. So daily trend
that we broke.
I'm gonna do a reset here. I'm gonna do a full reset. Daily trend on this chart. Yeah, that we. Oh, I see exactly what you're talking about. Basically, that little upward trend line, and we're retesting it now.
Yep. So we broke out of the daily trend, guys, right? And now we're forming a bit of a bear flag on the daily. Okay. So what I'm looking for on Palantir is another short entry. Now, ideally, we retest that trend around 168, but maybe we'll get some exposure today if we get a little pop. Okay. So I'm watching this bear flag. I'm watching this retest of the trend. This looks like another great short entry to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting trend line tap there. I didn't even see that. Tesla, that's what we forgot today. Tesla was a big one. Mike, are you watching Tesla today?
No.
Are you? I have a FAFO level. I have a serious FAFO level. You guys know how Tesla operates. It's either going to work and it's going to be big, or it's not going to work and it's going to be very bad. It's up to you. This is what it is, right? The level is very clearly in front of us. You know what I'm going to say here. Okay, you know what I'm going to say. It's 349. 349 bull bear pivot. If we are above 349, 350, we're bullish. Now, technically, here's the thing. I like trading Tesla on Momo, right? I like trading Tesla on momentum. So, like, if I have a stock like this, right? Let's just say this is the stock, okay? And you see consolidation, upside, right? Tesla on demand bounces. Like, look at this Monday session. Look at the Monday session from the 25th. This is actually a beautiful case example. Look at Monday, the 25th of August. Zoom into that price action on the demand bounce that occurred on Monday. So big upside move on Friday, and then Monday. Look at the deadliness behind the downside. When Tesla goes in the downside, it becomes very deadly, right? And longing it intraday can become very difficult. Look at the chart here. This is a beautiful, aggressive failure, reclaim, upside move. Tesla is a long at demand like any other name is. But Tesla, you must look for a serious confirmation today. And what I've been looking for confirmation is I look to see, can we hold 349? If we hold 349, 350, I'm looking for longs there. That's simply what it is. Again, it's going to work and I'm gonna look fantastic, or it's not gonna work and I'm gonna look really stupid. Look to see if it holds. If it holds, go long, have a stop below, and trade it. That's what it is. I would prefer trading something like this today, though. On this chart, is if I see us, you know what? I'm not even gonna say it. I'll say it on live. I'm not gonna say it. I'll say it on live. But again, that's the level 349, 350. That's what I'm watching today in Tesla. Okay. I don't want to give too much because I feel like if I give too much, they're gonna stop me out of this one. Okay. If it does clear 355, then yes, I agree. 355 clears. They're gonna go to 368. That's what I'm watching for here on the Tesla chart. Right. Let's move on, guys. Let's go over a few more tickers. Let's go over the earnings from yesterday. Snowflake. Snow. So Snow has earnings in the after hours today. Why is Snow rallying from 194 to 202 prior to earnings? I don't know what's going on here. There must be some sort of news. I'm going to take a look at a second and see what's going on here. So Snowflake, obviously something's going on here. What's going on? MongoDB stock stores. Oh, it's a MongoDB. Okay, so that's what's happening here. So basically, this is rallying prior to its earnings because of MongoDB. That to me, if I was a trader of Snowflake, I would be watching this short today because that makes no sense. We should not be rallying into an earnings event. I just don't like that. Okay, so obviously be careful of Snow today. Again, I'm not a Snow trader, but if I was, I would be more cautious than ever. Today after hours, we have earnings. Okay, if it can clear back above what level today? I mean, under 190, it's a beautiful short. 191. If it can clear back above these series of lows here at 207, you can see 207 as a major spot. You see 207 major lows, 207 major rejection spot. And that's where we are right now here on Snowflake. So be careful 207 supply. If we can clear back above 207 supply, then obviously big upside. But let's wait post earnings because we don't want to get involved in this prior to earnings event and just get caught up in a crazy nothing play because this probably just stays ranged. Mike, do you have any other things you want to go over? Anything I'm missing?
No, I mean, Snowflake, CrowdStrike, NVIDIA all report earnings today, so I wouldn't touch any of those names intraday unless you're trading equities. But I think post earnings, we could get some nice moves on all three. They're actually becoming good names to trade. So, I mean, obviously NVIDIA, but CrowdStrike and Snowflake as well. So let's just see what happens after earnings, guys. We should get a big move on the market soon.
I agree. I think it could be a little chopped up today's session because we have these big. You saw it a little bit yesterday, right, on the S&P. It's very possible today's day is mostly ranged. It was mostly ranged up until late in the afternoon, and all of a sudden we got the big rally. But it was mostly ranged all session yesterday. There was no real winner. It was mostly just consolidation until around that 2 p.m. mark, and then obviously a little bit of a rally move higher. But it was very consolidated yesterday, and it was the same thing on that Monday session. So be careful today. I think today we could see some chop in the early morning, and I think we'll get the better action come Thursday and Friday. Fancy, thank you very much, Fancy. You are very kind, Fancy. That is very, very nice of you. Thank you for always supporting. And Fancy, we're going to kill it today. So, Mike, I think we can pause it. We can leave it off here, and we can have a nice morning before we trade.
Right? Yeah, good session. We'll see you guys on live.
See you guys on live. Bye, guys.